മാന്യവും സമാധാനവുമായ ഒരു മരണം ആഗ്രഹിക്കാത്ത മനുഷ്യനുണ്ടാകുമോ? എന്നാൽ അങ്ങനെ ഒരു മനുഷ്യനുണ്ട്. ആ മനുഷ്യൻ്റെ കഥയാണ് ദ ഫ്ലൈ ഓൺ എ വാൾ എന്ന ചിത്രത്തിലൂടെ ഷൊനാലി ബോസ് നമ്മളോട് പറഞ്ഞു വെക്കുന്നത്. ചിത്രത്തിൻ്റെ സംവിധായകയായ ഷൊനാലി ബോസ് ആണ് ഇന്ന് നമ്മളോടൊപ്പം ചേരുന്നത്. ഹായ് മാം.
What was the inspiration to do this movie?
Right. So, first thing I want to say is that how did this film come about? And what you asked is a very interesting thing. That why is this film then about friendship? So, Chika Kapadia is a friend of mine. I've known him for 25 years, and a friend of the other director for 10 years, Nilesh Maniyar. He suddenly discovered that he had 4 months to live and stage 4 cancer, by which he would have a very painful and difficult death in a hospital where he would be in an ICU, where he would be tied up with tubes, not able to breathe or eat or anything like that. He chose to die with dignity in a place called Dignitas in Switzerland, because there's no law in India, there's no law in the United States, no law in Bali, Indonesia, where he lived, where he could have a dignified death. I was going to fly for his death. 3 days prior to me flying for his death, he called me and said, "Will you film my death?" So now Nilesh and I had 3 days to think that how are we going to make a movie about this? First idea of Nilesh was shoot with an iPhone camera instead of a big camera, even like the camera you have for Kairali News, because that kind of camera, a person will get self-conscious and they'll feel there's a camera, there's a tripod, there's a mic. Just an iPhone so that the person will be unself-conscious. Second big decision that Nilesh took was, he said, turn the camera, turn the iPhone on yourself and record yourself. I thought this was just as a video diary. But later, when they looked at the footage, Nilesh, the director, and Tushar, the editor, said, this is a film about friendship. You know, the way Anand is with Rajesh Khanna, Amitabh Bachchan, a film about friendship in which one person is going to die at the end of cancer. But it's actually about them. So the resultant film, A Fly on the Wall, is a film about the conflict as well as the love between two friends, where one friend is going to end up dying on camera at the end of the film.
Ma'am, what do you think? What inspired Chika to tell you that you should film My Last Days?
You've asked a very, very good question. And why did Chika ask me to make the film, right? And this is something we were thinking about the whole time, and we realized that what it is that he wanted to have a legacy. Because first, his legacy he thought was going to be that, oh, people should be inspired that even they can die with dignity. But how will people know? He's gone and died in dignity with dignitas. Then he was like, my friends are both filmmakers. If they make a film, then people will know about this, and then we can try to push for laws to make it possible that people can die with dignity in their own country, wherever they are. They should not have to go to Dignitas to Switzerland. This was the obvious answer. But when we keep watching the footage and we keep watching the film, a new thing emerged, which is amazing. And this was not Chika's plan. Chika's plan was, by making this film, you will make the issue aware. People should be aware that the right to die with dignity should be there in the country. But while going through it, what happened is, he got a platform with this film, and then it gave him the confidence and courage, because the camera is always on. Look, I'm smiling and talking, the camera is on me, you know. When people are comfortable with camera, I'm comfortable with camera, Chika's comfortable with camera, you perform for camera. So what Chika did in his dying moments, because remember this, what's radical about this film is not that it's about this issue. In the end of the film, a man picks up a little glass right on the table in front of him. He drinks that glass, he's sitting on an armchair like this, he puts his head back, and he's dead. And to have the courage to do that, people told us, most people, before drinking that, they get up and walk away. Because you can get up and walk away. What will take you through the courage that I'm going to drink this and I'm going to die in 2 minutes after that? And that was having the camera on. And Chika planned that once he drinks the poison, when he has only 2 minutes left to die, he will recite a poem. And he recites this beautiful poem by Robert Frost. I'll tell you 2 lines. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep. and miles to go before I sleep. And Chika performs this poem with such elocution, like as if he's on stage performing. And that is all because there was a camera. You don't do such things because there's not a camera. So ultimately, Chika performed his death. And this I say in a positive way, because I'm not putting him down for that. I think that's a wonderful way to find a mechanism that what will give you the courage to go through the hardest thing in life, to take the decision that I'm going to just take this and die. And that was performing for the camera and knowing that his friends, Shonali and Nilesh, will take the film around the world and people will be able to see not just the issue, but also that Chika, in his final moments, was not scared. So this is the reason.
The opening dialogue, to your good health, having a good cheers. So how it came, that dialogue and all that, I just loved.
RJ Arvind has asked me a unique question that in 20 festivals till now nobody has asked me. And I love this question and I love you for it, RJ Arvind. It actually was the opening scene even for me as a filmmaker. So I had landed from India in Zurich. Straight from the airport, Chika said, okay, come, we are hanging out by the lake, come, meet us. And I just go in a situation where I'm thinking, oh, my friend is going to die. What is happening? Is he lying down somewhere? What's happening? I land in a situation where by the beautiful lake in Zurich, there's a table and Chika and 6 of his friends are sitting and drinking beer. And Chika's beer, I kid you not, was this tall, as the size of this mic. He would say, give me the tallest glass of beer there is, and he's having this drink. Now what happens is, when people have a drink, what do? Cheers. We say cheers, right? So, by mistake, one of his friends said, Chika, to your good health. And Chika immediately started laughing and said, to my good health, I'm going to die in 6 days, and you're saying, to my good health, I have cancer. And we all started laughing, but this is so unique. This man is 6 days from death. Then, in the same conversation, before we at this point don't even realize that Chika's going to die in the film, another man sitting at the table is telling Chika that, can I take, Raja Ampat? You love Raja Ampat because you're a diver, Raja Ampat is the best place to go as a diver in Indonesia and in the world. Can I take small amount of your ashes and I'll go and put it in Raja Ampat? And Chika replies, yes, that's a great idea. After I die, take my ashes and put it in Raja Ampat. Oh my God, boom. Suddenly the audience is just like, what? These people are drinking beer and they're talking about his ashes being buried in Raja Ampat. Like, you cannot script this dialogue. You cannot script this dialogue in a narrative film. It is such brilliant dialogue, but it was just spontaneous, what these people said, and I was smart enough that I immediately I reached that place and I was like, oh, this is interesting, and I turned my iPhone on and I captured it, and my editor was like, this is the best opening scene we could have. So in all our different edits, we never changed the opening scene, because look at your reaction to it. As you said, it's unique. It just pulls you into the film. It gives you a shock, and it just draws you in that, oh my God, this man is going to die, and he's laughing about it, and his friends are laughing about it. Buried in Raja Ampat, like, you cannot script this dialogue. You cannot script this dialogue in a narrative film. It is such brilliant dialogue, but it was just spontaneous, what these people said, and I was smart enough that I immediately I reached that place and I was like, oh, this is interesting, and I turned my iPhone on and I captured it, and my editor was like, this is the best opening scene we could have. So in all our different edits, we never changed the opening scene, because look at your reaction to it. As you said, it's unique. It just pulls you into the film. It gives you a shock, and it just draws you in that, oh my God, this man is going to die, and he's laughing about it, and his friends are laughing about it.
Do you believe every person deserves the right to a dignified death? And how does a fly on the wall contribute to open up that conversation?
Kerala is my favorite state in the country for many reasons. I love Mallus and I love the food here. But one of the biggest reasons is that this is the state which for the longest time has had a left Democratic Front government, and I love Kerala people for that. Why I'm saying this is, the right to die with dignity is something progressive which regressive governments will never allow. Okay? Now, the important thing to understand in a country like ours, I'm speaking now as a left progressive person, that in our country, we don't give people the right to live with dignity. There's terrible poverty. There's all kinds of things in the majority of the country of this India. Where does anybody have a right to live with dignity in this country that we're now going to talk about the right to die with dignity? But having said that, it is important to have the right to die with dignity. What happens? What happens is people, when they are end of life, like when they have something as severe as cancer or anything, they are in hospitals where you may not have hospitals like you have in Kerala, where it's paid for, etc., where, it's like people go into debt paying for their care of their loved ones on the ventilator, etc., where the loved ones are going to die anyway because there's no cure for what they have. Then why will you not give them the right to dignity? Why will you not allow doctors to just give them something and put them at ease, put the families at ease and put them at ease? Now, having said that, I will admit and say that in our country, it is complicated because we all know how relatives can take advantage of somebody. So the law has to be very clear. There has to be very clear-cut situation on how you get somebody to sign off. Because I saw the process in Dignitas in Switzerland, how strict it was, how proper it was for both Chika and for his family members. The whole paperwork and process that went through to give the green light that he do it. But having said that, I do believe this is an important right. It is a human right, and this has been said by the Geneva Commission, that this be a human right and people be given that right to die with dignity.
This is a movie where people cry for Chiku. More than that, they love the friendship of Chiku. So how this movie ended up by saying a good friendship story?
You do cry in this film. You weep in this film. The interesting thing about this film is because it was two people's point of view, two friends' point of view. It's a film about friendship, but even that moves your heart, but you also laugh in the film. So it's unique to watch somebody die and one person losing their friend, and yet you can laugh. You cry also, but you laugh also. Now, what has been the impact of this film? Because the world premiere was almost a year ago in October 2nd in Busan, and after that we've been in about 20 festivals and had a lot of screenings. What has been remarkable for me is that how young people have responded to the film. Right from the beginning, young people have said, ma'am, this film heals us. In Mami screening, the first hand up, a young girl got up and said, my father committed suicide at the beginning of the year, but in watching this film, my healing journey has begun. Another person I met in Dharamshala, a young person, said, ma'am, I was suicidal, but I watched your film and it healed me, and I'm not suicidal anymore. It brings tears to my eyes in even saying this. And why did she say that? She said, and what R.J. Arvind has correctly said, because you feel the zest in the film of Chika as well as of me, of the two friends. So she said, why it made me not be suicidal? Because Chika, who's facing death, and you, his best friend, who's facing his death, the two of you have so much zest for life. You have a passion for life. And that is why the film, even though it's a film about death, is actually a life-affirming film.
It's always a hardest part to film our best friend his final days. So what are the mental preparations that you have taken to do this film?
I didn't prepare for this film or for my friend's death because I didn't need to. Why did my friend even ask me that you please be present? I don't care if anybody else is there. You have to be there and you have to make the film, because he knew that it was easy for me. Now, this is 2025. 15 years ago in 2010, I lost my 16-year-old son, Ishan, and I talk about that in the film. Chika Kapadia, my friend, tries to cry before his death, and he's unable to cry, and he keeps saying, I want to cry. Then I asked him this question. I said, darling, when was the last time you cried? And he said, the last time I had this big, guttural, big cry was when your son Ishan died. Okay, now Chika knew that the way I faced my son's death was with utmost courage and peace and beauty. It is a gift that my son Ishan gave me when he died, because the death of a child is the worst death any parent can face. It's unbearable. Before his death, if you told me that, and I was told that he's in hospital dying, I would, there's just darkness. I just want to end my own life. But after he died, he gave me the courage by reaching out to me and by making me comfortable with his death. He said this sentence to me that, Mama, I didn't need to be on earth anymore. And that meant to me that people are in this earth only to be as long as they have to be. So your life could end at 16, your life could end at 100. So I'll just end with that, saying that Ishan gave me the courage so I didn't have to prepare for Chika's death. Ishan prepared me to face the death of my own death or of anybody's death in this world. The only death I cannot face is the genocide that is taking place of people in Palestine.